Oh, I wish I could sing like Shreya Ghoshal. Sometimes I wish I could think like Sundar Pichai. Oh, I wish I could lead like MS Dhoni. At some point, haven't we all thought that? In a world of filters and flashes, followers and frames, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking they have something that I don't. And so begins the silent comparison, not the healthy kind, but the kind that whispers you're not enough. Every morning we stand in front of the mirror, we fix our hair, adjust our clothes, and maybe give ourselves a pep talk. We spend so much time presenting ourselves outwardly to the world, but how often do we reflect inward, not on how you look, but how you feel? Inside that mirror, sometimes we don't see ourselves. We see our shortcomings, our failures, and our flaws. And worse, we start seeing other people's strengths reflected there instead of our own. We compare our behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel, and slowly, silently, the comparison becomes competition, not the empowering kind, but the kind that exhausts the soul. And today, as we explore the theme, Designing the Future, I wish to take you through a different kind of comparison, one that doesn't involve anyone else. Back in school, I played basketball. Oh, those were the glory days, or at least they felt like it. The sound of sneakers on court, the whistle echoing, and the cheering crowds. It was more than a game. It was my thing, my identity. Until she came along. The girl who was quicker, sharper, and more confident. She scored effortlessly. The crowd, laughter, and my coach admired her. And I started counting her points instead of mine. At first, I told myself I was just being observant. But slowly, the love for the game turned into fear of not measuring up. It was no longer about playing better. It was about being better than her. And that's where I lost the game. Not on the court, but in my mind. One evening, I was sitting alone in my room, frustrated, angry, and tired. My eyes fell on an old diary. Its pages were blank. I opened it and wrote, "Today, I attempted 3 shots and converted 1 for 2 points. I got blocked once and missed 2 free throws. No filters, no egos, just facts." Then I flipped to the previous day and asked, was I better today than I was yesterday? That question changed everything. Every night, I began writing just 1 page, not comparing myself with her, but with me. And that diary became my personal scoreboard, not of victories, but of growth. I then realized, when you compare yourself with others, you measure distance. But when you compare yourself with yourself, you measure depth. Let's take a moment to zoom in on something mechanical. Let's talk about engines. The internal combustion engine, or coincidentally, ICE, indicating that internal comparison would help us to stay cool and calm regardless of the external environment. An internal combustion engine powers everything, from motorbikes to massive trucks. But its beauty isn't just in its horsepower. It's in its process. An ICE works through a cycle. It's simple, repeatable, but powerful. Here are the 4 stages of the cycle. 1. Intake. It draws in air and fuel. 2. Compression. It squeezes the mixture tightly, preparing ignition. 3. Combustion. The spark lights the mixture, releasing energy. 4. Exhaust. It releases the waste, clearing the way for the next cycle. And then it begins again. Now, imagine this. What if this engine was a metaphor of how we can grow through internal comparison? In intake, we gather not the air and fuel, but experiences, feedback, and new challenges. Every day brings in something new. And then comes compression. This is where reflection happens. We don't just act on everything, we filter it. What worked, what didn't, and where do I feel stuck? Combustion is the spark, that magical moment when a small insight hits us. Maybe I should try studying differently. Maybe I've actually improved more than what I thought I would. That's where motivation is born. And finally, exhaust. We let go of what weighs us down. Unrealistic expectations, guilt from failure, and comparison to others. Because progress needs space. And just like that engine, the cycle repeats. But each time, it's more refined, more efficient, and more powerful. And that's how internal comparison works when it's designed right. It doesn't burn you out, it drives you forward. Now, a little psychology. Psychologists Edward Deci and Richard Ryan introduced something called self-determination theory. It says, human growth thrives when 3 things are met. The first is autonomy. We choose to grow, not to outperform others, but because we genuinely want to become better versions of ourselves. And the second is competence. When we feel capable, not by being better than someone else, but by improving on who we were yesterday. And the third is connection, not through rivalry, but through shared progress, where success is not a competition, it's a collective journey. But comparison with others breaks the cycle. It takes away autonomy because we start living someone else's life. It makes us feel incompetent because we only see what we lack. And it separates us from others instead of bringing us closer. But comparison with yourself, and that's where you reclaim power. And that's where future is designed. Designing the future means shifting our focus from competition to continuous improvement. Tomorrow's innovators won't aim to outdo others, but to build better than what they did before. In a world full of likes and rankings, redesigning systems around personal growth will prioritize well-being over performance. And most importantly, success will no longer be one size fits all. By embracing our internal comparison, we can create a future that's inclusive, creative, and driven by purpose. Comparison is not the enemy. It's a tool, like fire. It can burn or it can light. We keep racing in someone else's lane. We keep counting someone else's applause. But maybe the point is not to stop comparing. It is to compare differently. Because designing a better future starts not with bigger dreams, but with braver comparisons. Finally, tomorrow morning, when you stand in front of that mirror, ladies and gentlemen, do not ask, why am I not like them? Instead, ask, am I better than what I was yesterday? That one question can design a future that's deeply authentic, widely fulfilling, and entirely yours. Thank you.